All right, let's jump right into today's explainer. We're looking at a really fascinating narrative called The Forest That Lost Its Voice. Now, usually when we talk about deforestation or climate change, it is so easy to get totally bogged down in just massive statistics and dry data, right? But what this story does so brilliantly is it grounds those huge concepts into an actual narrative. It translates the raw data of ecological destruction into something we can just instantly visualize and, well, feel. So let's dive into the source material and see exactly how it brings this vital topic to life.
To set the stage, the source uses a really clever technique. It introduces us to the actual inhabitants of the environment. Take Luna the owl, for example. She delivers this profound opening thought. When forests disappear, nature loses its balance. And, this instantly establishes a crucial baseline for us. A forest is way more than just a bunch of trees standing next to each other. It's this highly tuned engine of life where thousands of animals, plants, and insects rely completely on one another. If you take away the trees, the entire engine stalls out.
So, to really grasp what's at stake here, we need to first look at the harmonious micro level. Let's look at part 1, life in the balance. The story does this amazing job of personifying really complex biological functions through relatable characters. Take Oliver the oak. He's been standing tall for 300 years. His ecological role? Protecting the forest and storing massive amounts of carbon. And its fundamental need is preservation. Then there's Maya the monkey. She represents seed dispersal and biodiversity. Basically, the forest is her playground and her home. Then we have Leo the deer, who maintains the food web through grazing, relying on the forest for shelter. And of course, Luna the owl, who represents population control and keeping a watchful eye on this delicate balance. It's a brilliant way to show how absolutely every organism has a specific job. It literally turns the abstract idea of a thriving, breathable forest into something deeply understandable and real.
But as you might guess, the peaceful rhythm of this ecosystem gets abruptly broken. That brings us to part 2, the arrival of progress and the disruption it causes.
In the narrative, this disruption rolls in with heavy machinery and a character named Jack the Logger. Now, Jack isn't evil. He isn't acting out of malice. He actually just represents the human drive for progress. I mean, we need more land, right? We need it for agriculture, new roads, mining, urban development, the whole shebang. But the source text points out a huge catch here. While human development is undeniably important, destroying forests without proper planning triggers immediate, severe environmental problems.
Let's put this into perspective with a staggering example from the script. Imagine a vibrant forest with 10,000 trees. Suddenly, the chainsaws arrive, and in the blink of an eye, 8,000 of those trees are cut down. Only 2,000 are left. Just think about the sheer scale of that altered landscape for a second. By wiping out 80% of the canopy, you aren't just harvesting wood. You are instantly displacing thousands of birds, monkeys, and deer. Their nests? Gone. Their food? Gone. Their shelter literally vanishes overnight.
And that brings us to a frankly terrifying phase of the narrative. Section 3, the ripple of destruction, or the chain reaction.
The crucial takeaway here is that cutting down trees kicks off a catastrophic chain reaction on the land itself. First, the trees are gone, meaning the root systems are pulled up or just die off. Now, without those deep, intertwining roots acting like nature's rebar to hold everything together, the soil rapidly loosens. Then, heavy rain inevitably hits that newly unprotected, naked ground. Because there's nothing left to absorb the water or anchor the earth, you get severe floods and massive landslides, literally washing the land away. The destruction of the canopy directly leads to the destruction of the ground beneath it. Luna, the owl, actually returns here to drive this exact point home with chilling clarity. She says, the forest doesn't disappear alone. Everything connected to it suffers. And she hits the nail on the head. The ripple effect is absolute. It hits the soil, the waterways, and every single living organism in the vicinity. Now we have to scale up from that localized destruction and look at the sky. Part 4, the global climate impact and carbon emissions. There is such a stark, undeniable contrast presented here. On one side, you have a healthy forest acting as a massive carbon sink. Living trees literally breathe in. They actively absorb carbon dioxide from our atmosphere and keep the climate wonderfully balanced. But on the flip side, look at what happens when that forest is destroyed. It becomes a carbon emitter. Not only does it stop cleaning the air, but all that carbon safely stored inside the trees, it gets released straight back into the atmosphere. A destroyed forest effectively becomes a massive pollution source, directly driving up global temperatures.
Which feeds right into the definition of global warming outlined in the text. It's the long-term heating of the Earth's surface, and it is heavily accelerated by this massive release of carbon from destroyed forests.
The text explicitly ties this to the terrifying stuff we're seeing more and more of today. Extreme weather events, rapidly melting glaciers, a hotter sun, and rivers just running completely dry. Oliver the Oak, our 300-year-old guardian of the forest, provides a really sobering summary of this macro-level impact. He says, "Without us, the Earth becomes hotter every year." It's a direct, undeniable link from the loss of a single ancient tree all the way up to the heating of our entire planet.
Returning to the emotional core of the text, the reality for the characters on the ground is just grim. We see Maya the monkey crying out, wondering where her family's gonna live, and Leo the deer plainly stating they just cannot survive without the florist. Every single year, deforestation leaves countless animals facing this exact bleak reality of empty nests and silent forests. It pushes vulnerable species closer to the endangered list and causes some to disappear entirely, lost to extinction forever.
But fortunately, the source material introduces a really powerful turning point here. Section 5, Hope and Actionable Change, a look at the future. In the story, Jack the logger finally takes a look around. He notices the suffering of the animals, the drying rivers, the totally silent landscape, and he actually halts the machines. He realizes that progress does not have to equal total destruction. The text highlights a vital solution. We can actually still meet our human needs through sustainable forestry, responsible farming, and aggressive replanting programs. We can absolutely have progress while actively protecting nature. It just requires balance and intention.
And there's this beautiful thought from Oliver the Oak that anchors this new direction. One tree can grow into a forest. I love that. It transitions us away from despair and into a space of community action and ecological restoration. It's a great reminder that recovery always starts small. Just a single seed, a single action. The script also empowers us directly with concrete, actionable steps. You can plant new trees right in your own community. You can consciously reduce your paper waste. You can actively recycle. You can vote with your wallet, by supporting sustainable products. And you can advocate to protect your local forests. These are things everyday people can do right now to help reverse the damage and support a genuinely sustainable way of living.
In the finale, we see a really powerful visual transformation where the barren, damaged landscape slowly turns back into a healthy, vibrant green space filled with returning wildlife. And it serves to remind us exactly what is at stake here. Deforestation isn't just about losing some timber. It means losing our wildlife, our clean air, our fresh water, and ultimately a healthy future for the next generation.
So I want to leave you with this final provocative thought directly from the narrative. The choices we make today will shape the world tomorrow. It all really comes down to the actions we decide to take right now. So what world will you choose? Are you going to choose the silent, barren landscape? Or will you take the actionable steps we talked about to help give the forest its voice back? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I really hope this gave you a clear, structured way to understand just how profoundly interconnected our vital forests really are.